So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
Ladies, gentlemen, Weequay species of Weequay like the crack shot. Weequay always take crack shot. You listen to Weequay. Welcome to episode 34 of Hell of a Pilot. With me today. Oh, it's actually really quite early in the morning. We're at Lockie's house, and with me is of course Lockie. We haven't just snuck in.
No, they knocked. I let them in. It was fine.
And on my left, the firm handshake that is Baron Gundark, Mike.
Oh, thank you. Much appreciated. Very excited to be recording on this Queen's birthday.
Oh, yeah. It's a long weekend. It's so good.
That's right. So for those of you not in the Commonwealth, we're celebrating the rule of the God Empress herself, Queen Elizabeth II.
the undying.
Whose birthday was actually in April.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, for reasons.
Because we just like public holidays. It's Australia. We're chill.
We have a public holiday for sports events. Both
we do. Yeah. I love it.
For horse race and the grand final.
And footy.
And I follow neither, so I'm just...
So we just... What was it? It was like, there's an AFL, and everyone just kind of left work, and they had the AFL Grand Final, Australian Football League, for those who are not in Australia. The whole idea was that you would take a day off and then go see the parade of the AFL players through the city of Melbourne. And no one went because it was a day off.
That's right.
So they just put it on a different day and still gave you a day off.
Yeah, but it's so dumb. Like, I don't care about football at all.
No.
But then they're like, oh, don't go to work today because there's a parade. Like, okay, there's 16 or 18 teams in the league.
Yeah.
Only 2 of them are going to be at the parade.
Yeah,
so like all the rest of the people in the country who are like, well, my team's not there. I'm just going to stay home and what? Like, this was the government, by the way, who made this decision. The actual government made this a thing.
I think X-Wing needs a public holiday.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's on the show today, Mike?
We are delving into the glory that is Scum and villainry, which is very exciting. So Owen is excited. I know he's pumped for this one.
Oh, yeah, it's my turn.
Yes.
This is my shine.
Yeah, this is your time to shine. Well, you always shine, actually. And then in the lore section, I think we can probably... we're going to talk about droids in the Star Wars universe.
Yes, we are.
Because we like droids.
We like droids. The whole... If anyone's seen the solo movie, droids are a very big part of it. So we thought we'd sort of dive into them and see what they're about. What else, Lockie?
We're going to have a brief chat about the recently revealed Lando's Millennium Falcon
That's
expansion.
right. We psyched you. God, listen. FFG, we caught you out this time.
Yes, exactly.
We said that we were recording on Tuesday, but we weren't. Nor did we record on Wednesday. And you released an article thinking we were. Ha! We win.
Yes, X-Wing 3rd edition is going to be announced tomorrow.
Damn it! I think this episode is going to be quite a long episode because there's lots to talk about. It's going to be very exciting, and it's on with the show.
Good day, citizens, and welcome to High Net News. Today's broadcast is a reminder to all our military listeners. You may be the best, you may be the brightest, you may have the best equipment and training we're willing to give you, but one inescapable fact remains: you are outnumbered. Your enemies are rebel scum and the galaxy's scum and villainy, but no matter what kind of scum you're dealing with, they have one thing in common: astromechs. This guide should help you identify astromechs at a glance. R2 astromechs restore shields to enemy ships, a shameful and cowardly tactic indeed. Noble Imperial craft usually fight without shields, so if you see an R2 astromech, don't forget to shake your head in judgment of the pilots who are too afraid to let their ships explode with dignity. R3 astromechs allow enemy pilots to maintain 2 target locks instead of 1. This has put weapons engineers out of work, but we don't care because Ugnaughts tend to associate with pirates and rebels anyway. R4 astromechs assist your opponents with their maneuvers maneuvering because they can't do it themselves. In the Imperial Navy, we believe that if you can't handle your ship, you stay out of the cockpit. Real flying takes guts, and if you don't want to see yours all over the canopy, you learn how to fly properly. Our 5 astromechs repair enemy ships on the fly and serve as a reminder of the Empire's superior wealth and resources. We don't need to repair ships like our enemies do, because when ours are destroyed, we can afford to just buy new ones. Wouldn't you rather fight for the side with the money rather than having to spend all your time and effort keeping ships safe to fly? Serve the Empire faithfully and you'll have more spare time, assuming you make it home. That's all for today, so we hope this update has been helpful. And let's give a big shout out to all the tie jockeys out there defending our empire. This is Holonet News.
Still like tie jockeys.
Yes.
That's just a great name for them. I think I said this to you guys outside of recording, but the Imperial March played in a major key is what I use over the top of Lockie's awesome Holonet News segment, and is now canon as the anthem. It's still the Imperial March, and it's in a major key, and it is canonically the anthem of the Imperials. So I did it first. Thank you. You're welcome. So Lando's Millennium Falcon has popped into a thing because we psyched you out, boys.
Yes.
We did it. That's right. We win. This is us.
People have been saying for months there's been the argument, will there be a Scum Falcon, will there not? And apparently yes.
Yes. And now we get to talk about it because it's in the Scum faction. So let's have a chat about the new YT 1300 light freighter.
Well, interesting. This will be the third sculpt of this model.
It's true, actually.
Which is interesting. So it's being an iconic ship. It's not surprising. So we've had the original Falcon. We've had the new Jedi Falcon, or the new canon Falcon with the square radio dish, and now we have the Lando's, swank, pimped out.
Swank one. There is room for his capes.
Yes.
At least this one looks kind of different.
It does. It looks sedan.
Yeah.
This is a big difference. So it's a good looking model.
I actually really like this model. I like them revamping the old one. And you know what? It occurs to me, there will be one Millennium Falcon for the Rebels, there'll be one Millennium Falcon for the Scum and Building, and there'll be one Millennium Falcon for the Resistance. So, yeah, you actually...
Actually, this is a question that I've been thinking about for a while. How accepting do you think people will be of models being used across factions? Like if you pay the appropriate points for your faction, use the appropriate dial and pilot cards for your faction, but then your favorite one of the models that may not match up, do you think people let you get away with it?
Sure. I mean, people bring modded, painted stuff to comps all the time, so I don't think the rules don't preclude you having... Well, it depends.
The rules are supposed to say you're not ever supposed to get confused.
Yes, exactly.
But if you're bringing like the Resistance, a team of Resistance, you're clearly not going to go, I forgot that I thought that was a Scum and Villainy one. Like, well, all my other ships are Rebels, so like...
Yeah, I just mean if you're a Scum player and you want to fly, like it's not revealed yet, but you want to fly Han the pilot and use the original trilogy Millennium Falcon model, you just put it on a Scum base with a Scum tile and everything like that.
Yeah, I can't. Look, I think you'd have to be really. You have to be a real rules kind of Nazi to kind of say no, that's precluded.
Yeah.
But what do we think of this? Because there's some subtle differences in the stats on this.
Something you boys pointed out to me, but I didn't even notice. But now I'm more disappointed with. It only has 2 red.
2 red, 1 agility, 8 hull, and 3 shield.
So that is a distinctive nerf.
Well, yeah, it's got 2 fewer shields as well. Yeah, as you say. But look, all the actions are the same. So it's probably just gonna have a different role in the faction than the Falcon has in the Rebels. Like, it's the Scum already have some pretty aggressive ships. Like they probably didn't need another one in that sense. So this one's going to be lighter. It'll be cheaper. And it'll play differently as well because it's going to have the baked-in abilities that some of the pilots have in 2nd edition. It doesn't have one as a standard thing, but its little removable pod seems like it's going to give it one.
Yeah, that's true. That is something new about this one and distinctly different from all the others.
The Rebels won't have that.
No, there is a removable pod in the YV-1300 light freighter full of scum, and I think there hasn't really been nothing's really been exposed to like what it is. We know L337 is going to be in it in the pod.
By the way, L337, that's got to be about the most committee designed thing I've seen in X-Wing so far. It'll be a bunch of old people will be like, oh, what should we name this droid for the young people? Oh, I think I saw my teenage son write 13371. Like, God, nobody has called anything Leet for years.
That's true.
There should have been a droid called Hacksaw and they could have been friends.
Hacksaw. H-A-Z-O-R.
Yeah, H-O-X or whatever.
H-A-X-0.
But yeah, so the little pod, this discussion will be spoiler free, by the way, of Solo, but the little...
Until next time, in which case we are talking about Solos, and you would have had enough time to go see it.
So the little pod in the front of the Falcon comes off, it detaches, and in the FFG model, it will do that as well. And L337, the droid character from the film, is the pilot of the pod when it's separate and has the ability, when you're not shielded, you can decrease the difficulty of your bank maneuvers. Now, when that is part of the Falcon, the whole ship has that, not just the pod. And when it's not part of the Falcon loses that ability. So I don't know if there will be other pod abilities, so you can customize a ship that way, or if that's the only one. But even if that is the only one, this Falcon will have abilities that the other doesn't.
I think you're right. I think with it being an actual nerf to damage output, it has to bring up in some other ways. And maybe it's supposed to be just an annoyance, an undying annoyance.
Yeah, it's hard. So it's not a support chip. It doesn't have any of the kind of
none of its
no
cards seem to do
coordinate.
it.
There's no And look, the revealed pilot abilities are
We've got Lando Calrissian. After you roll your dice, if you're not stressed, you may gain 1 stress token to reroll all of your blank results. Which is when it says after you roll dice, it's both offensive and defenses.
So if you're at range 3 behind a rock and someone shoots you, I mean, they're insane, but still, you would have 3 green dice. You could re-roll all of them.
It also says after you roll dice, it also means if you want to go over rocks, if you want to get hit by bombs, because you're rolling the dice, you can re-roll them. So, you know, that's also part of the game.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
That also means it doesn't say primary weapon either. It just says roll dice, so it could also be he could be an ordnance carrier.
Yeah, we don't know, obviously, because of the way the app works now. We don't know if it's going to have missiles or anything.
So what else has been revealed? We have the Han Solo gunner slot.
Yeah.
Before you engage, you may perform a red focus action, which I had a bit of a cackle at, because Han Solo and Lando Calrissian, they will not work together. If you take one, you can't use the other. So that's kind of funny. Like Han Solo will give you a red one, but then you become stressed, so you can't use the
other ability.
Lando Calrissian's power.
As gunners go, I'll be curious to see how they cost this one, because the other gunners they tend to give out extra shots, which this one doesn't. But in second edition, you so far you can't get a target lock and a focus at the same time, as far as I know. So this gunner card, even though it doesn't let you have another shot, it gives you a fully modified shot, which so far there's no other linked action. Like performing a red focus action is essentially a linked action. You can get full aggressive mods this way.
Yeah.
But it still probably shouldn't be as expensive as someone who can give you a whole other shot.
Yeah.
But
and
it's good,
the other thing is there's no it doesn't seem to be any limitation if you're already stressed. You can just add stress to you. So
if you're already stressed, you can't perform an action.
Before you engage, you may perform a red. Oh, no, you're correct. You are correct. Sorry,
it's the red action.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next crewman, Tobias Beckett. Set up. After placing forces, you may choose one obstacle in the play area. If you do, place it anywhere on the board. Beyond range 2 of any border edge, so basically you move a obstacle. Now, Lockie, you were saying that this has been... No one seems to like it.
Oh, not no one, but there's a percentage of people. I've been on the forums and in Facebook pages and things where there's people commenting saying, this sucks, this ability is bad. I don't think it is.
I disagree.
I think
I
if somebody we've got our good friend, the human TIE Defender over here.
Yes.
Who there's a certain kind of play style. Just defenders, for example.
Yeah.
You would set up your rocks to allow straight lines.
Yeah.
Which but I've got Beckett, and you've put your defenders here. I'm going to put one of the rocks in front of them.
After placing forces, so all the ships go down, and then you move an obstacle, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, the other thing is, you can mess with your opponent's initial engagement or attack run by placing the sort of, look, and I think the thing to remember is that it's a fun ability. I think this is a lot of abilities are not there strictly for competition. They're there because it's just fun to do that kind of stuff. And
Plus, it goes both ways, come to think of it. It's not just you messing up your opponent. If they have put a rock where you don't want them to put it, it's not there anymore.
Exactly.
Surprise, I have an easier way to hit you.
Yeah.
The last thing that was gigantically announced was the rig cargo chute, which is, I guess it works the same as rig cargo chute from the old game.
It's the only, as far as I'm aware, it's the only action dropping thing that second edition has.
Yeah, okay.
Is that right?
What, aside from bombs?
Yeah, but bombs, there aren't any action bombs anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, there you go. So this is an action after. Yeah, okay. And you get one shot at it because
there's no recharge on it.
There's no recharge on it, which is fine. Which is obviously.
But I think it's interesting is actually it's on a medium or large base. So
before it was large only.
It was large base,
but there was no small before.
And it was and it's still an illicit slot. So you modified the Falcon, the Resistance Falcon pack, which it came in. You had to take a mod of it, the title to add an illicit slot.
What was it called? The thing. The smuggling compartment.
The smuggling compartment, and you could add, and also you could add other things and all the rest. But I mean, I think again, this is.
Can this go on the fire spray?
Yeah, if
it's an illicit.
If it's an illicit, and
which I guess we don't know, do we? Because it's part of the.
But so that's what I was thinking. I think that's why it's worth noting, because that could be interesting, because the fire spray, which we'll talk about, I think that's again, it's an interesting thing.
Other than that, there hasn't been a whole lot. We Chewbacca, something at the end phase, token something, setup, damage something.
That's not the Falcon's dial. Sorry, I think the guys are slightly horrified. There's a dial revealed in the spread, but that wouldn't be the Falcon's dial. That would be the would be the little escape pod's dial.
But the escape pod's dial is not bad. 3 K-turn, two hards are red, which is interesting. But it does have a full stop, which I do enjoy a good full stop.
They seem to be putting more of them in second edition.
I like them.
They were really rare before. But what I'll be curious about is how much damage the pod can do when it's detached. Because it wouldn't have a primary value of 0, but also it wouldn't have a turret. Maybe it would have the Hawk's attack value of 1. Because it's not supposed to.
I don't think anything's going to have the Hawk's attack value of 1 because it was just so bad.
Yeah.
It was so bad they made the Hawk almost the best ship in the game.
Yeah.
Shall we move on? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just looking up quickly. The old Boba Fett pilot card for Scum did have an illicit, so
yes.
I think it's fairly safe to assume the new one will have one too.
God, I hope so. Well, let's move on to the fire spray and what it's bringing, what it's brought. Slowly
clicking
it's
everything
clicking,
to open up all the things.
Like a smoothly oiled engine.
Yes. But I think probably, a couple of things. It's moving to a medium base.
Yes, that's the big thing. And it's getting a new model.
Yes.
Which I'm okay with, because I hope it does need to be smaller. It's not a big ship.
No, and look, this actually, way back when I started X-Wing, this was one of the first models I bought because it was the fire spray. It's iconic.
Damn right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about its pilots, and starting with we'll go. We've been happy. Let's be a bit sad. Cat Scarlet.
Yeah.
While you perform a primary attack, if there are at least one friendly non-limited ship at range 0 of the defender, roll 1 additional attack die. So what that means is you have to have basically a Banari pirate, which I guess works with with Captain of Banari Pirates, to have bumped them. That's so you get an extra shot, which is kind of cool because it's not limiting you to behind, which is what you used to do. But it just seems like you need to set that up, and
you have to build around one ship. So if you bring this one fire spray as the damage dealer and lots of generics, and the damage dealer dies, what are you going to do with all those generics then?
Right.
And it seems like a hell of a lot to do for an extra shot. Like, just no.
Now let's move on to the other one, which is Koshka Frost, Icy Professional, which I will always laugh at. While you defend or perform an attack, if the enemy ship is stressed, you may reroll one of your dice.
That's cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because that's going to happen a lot in a game. That's not going to be a game of setting it up. That's just going to be a good.
And a lot of ships will be using their linked actions because their efficiency will be dependent upon, taking that second action to stress yourself. So I can say that, that's. I think that's pretty solid. And at Initiative 3, it's a good place to be sitting as well.
So we don't actually have the Boba Fett card yet. We're waiting for it. Come on. But we do have his Slave 1 title, and it's very similar to the last Slave 1 title. After you reveal a turn or a bank maneuver, you may set your dial to the same direction of the other direction. So it's same speed and bearing, but in the other direction.
That's Boba Fett's pilot ability.
Yeah, it is. It's also like the old outmaneuver EPT as well, I think. Oh, not outmaneuver, there's another one.
So is this kind of like a...
Oh, stay on target.
Stay on target, yeah.
So is this kind of like... you've really messed up. This is... If you're very new to X-Wing, you'll probably take this. But it also adds a torpedo slot, which is... Yeah.
Come to think of it, we've always thought of the Slave 1 title as being you would have to have screwed up to need to use it. But what if a situation arises and you can just be an opportunist about it? Like, okay, I took a bank to the right, but then if I had banked to the left, I could have shot somebody. I'll just do that.
Yeah, that's true. If someone blocks you and you see it coming, well, obviously if someone's moved in and you're a higher pilot skill or initiative, you just go, well, since I have a rear firing arc, I'll just go the other way.
Yeah, I'm still not saying it's great. It's probably not as bad as we've been saying it is. But the Marauder title, I think, is probably going to pop up more often.
Is that Cat Scarlet's
Yeah.
It's the original
you
art.
sneaky.
So
you sneaky FFG.
So Cat Scarlet's current ability is bad.
Yeah.
But it's probably because the old one was good. They wanted to share it around. So the Marauder title for the Fire Spray, while you perform a primary attack from the rear arc, you may re-roll one attack die at a gunner slot. So
This is good.
if that means that the Fire Spray always has a crew slot, and you can take the Marauder and have a crew and a gunner, that's pretty powerful. And
yeah. So something like the Han Solo gunner would be actually nice on this.
It has been pointed out before lately that Han can now be on Boba Fett's ship, which they would not really. I'm interested to know a little bit more about the Boba Fett crew card. Actually, it seems like you can start the game with him on a rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is kind of interesting. So you can deploy him sort of anywhere you
want.
want.
Well, that makes sense.
Like
that's thematic because remember he can he sort of detaches
from in
Empire.
Garbage. Yeah,
like he's in the garbage and he can detach himself and then sort of.
Another gunner is Dengar. After you defend, if the attack is in your firing arc, and that's probably good for the fire spray because it has front and back, you may spend one charge.
Yep.
If you do, roll one attack dice, and unless the attacker chooses to remove one green token on a hit or a crit, they suffer one damage. So that's essentially like the what's that droid called?
Was it R5P9? The pain bot?
The pain bot. It's essentially the pain bot.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
And this recharges as well.
So it's once per turn. They suffer damage.
But it recharges,
I like that there are things in this game that are avoiding... that are giving you a chance to get out of automatic damage. Like, it strips a token, which can be frustrating, but at least it's not giving you another damage.
All right, let's move on to my favorite ship, the Hawk, that is gloriously flying again. It's like the phoenix of
I'm serious.
The moldy phoenix.
the moldy phoenix. Oh no!
Sorry, Mike. What were you?
I was going to say this. I'm actually really excited to fly the Hawk in second edition. I think it's a great ship. It's got great abilities. It's got a good stat line. I think it's going to be a bit of a beast.
And the moldy crow title, where it gives it a front firing arc with 3.
Yeah.
That's so good. And it stops and it jams and and it can do stuff.
It can take a photo. It can do.
I'm so excited for this ship.
Yeah, it is. It's really good.
So let's talk about the pilot abilities. Torque or Mux, starting from the lowest. Torque or Mux, at the start of the engagement phase, you may choose one ship in your firing arc. If you do, that ship engages at initiative 0 instead of its normal initiative value this round. Which we're still on the fence about. Are we still on the fence?
No.
We're not on the fence.
I've been investigating the fence. There was.
It is white.
There was an AMA.
Picketed?
Is it? Yeah.
The fence is now picketed.
Yeah.
Tom Sawyer's been standing there for like 100 years
Just painting it.
There was a Reddit AMA, and it was confirmed that the reason they didn't write specifically on the card in your firing arc at range 1 to 3 is because you can't shoot beyond range 3, therefore functionally anything that isn't at range 3 may as well not be in your firing arc.
Yep,
so
gotcha.
these abilities don't have infinite range.
Okay, that's good actually. I'm glad.
So infinite range is no longer a thing.
No.
Yeah, because you had that with Sabine and the Emperor and infinite range ability.
So
I think that's actually good because that was again. I think that stuff added to the negative play experience. So
I think what that's helped them do is the less text they've had to put on a card, probably the better for them, because some of the cards had lots and lots and lots of writing on them.
Let's move on to Dace Bonearm. After an enemy ship at range 0-3 receives 1 ion token, you may spend 3 charges. If you do, that ship receives 2 additional ion tokens. So basically, you're forcing a large base ship to be ioned, because large base ships now require 3 ions, not 2. And wow, I'm not impressed. Because look, normally if it was maybe 2, I could deal with that. But 3 turns to get that back. You're not going to be alive for 3 turns.
It does mean though
You're
that
the
you can ion, if you put an ion cannon turret on there, and it doesn't even have to be yours, I think.
Yeah.
You can ion a large base ship in one shot, which you couldn't do before.
Yeah.
And even though, yes, it's really annoying because it takes 3 turns to charge up and this ship probably won't see play, but also you could ionize that large base ship at just the wrong time. Because large base ships have to be really careful when they're heading towards the edge of the board, when you turn back in, or if it's heading towards a rock or something and it's being all smug, being like, oh, you can't ion me. Dace Bonearm's just like, that's where you're wrong, kiddo. And
yeah, that would be a big setup as like that'd be like a gangster play, but I just don't see it happening. Now let's move on to my favorite person, the old troll himself. Palob. God, I love Palob. He's still my favorite ship. I don't know if even though he got a little bit of a nerve, still my favorite ship.
Did you know that Palob Godali is an anagram of Pablo Hidalgo, who is in charge of he's at LucasArts and he's in charge of the EU?
Oh, really?
Oh.
That's why they kept him strong.
Okay.
At the start of the engagement phase, you may choose one enemy ship in your firing arc at range 0 to 2. If you do, transfer 1 focus or evade token from that ship to yourself, which is fine, because what you're going to do is you're going to have your turret facing them probably. You also have a front-facing firing arc, so at least you've basically limited yourself to about 180 degrees of payload power. Trademark. And he's still the same, range 0 to 2. He's just... I think he'll start seeing some more play just because of that ability too. And a lot of these ships, as you said, if you have a green token, you can remove a green token to prevent something from proccing, like the Dengar. But he's taken that green token. So all of a sudden, and that's kind of great because you can put Palob, you can put Dengar probably on Palob.
Wait, does Dengar work in the engagement phase? Because it says here in the engagement phase,
you may choose at the start of the
token goes.
Yeah, Dengar works when you're shot at. He's painbot.
Oh, right.
So firstly, Palob takes your stuff and then forces you to well, that's if you put Dengar on there, and I think that might be a play, because the other thing about that is like, who's going to shoot at him, because he's got such a wide arc. I think that might be an alright thing.
Yeah. I do like that he did just get a tiny nerf, because even though Paylob was not a negative play experience, he was pretty annoying.
Oh, he was super annoying. I completely agree. He was super annoying. But that's why I loved him. He was like scum and villainy embodied.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was going to go somewhere like that. I've forgotten. I think we'll start seeing some play, because often, he's still not a strong ship, so he'll be forgotten. But at the same time, you have to get rid of him, because Paylob is Paylob. Let's move on to Taliban Cobra.
In the Kirax.
So the Kirax has not got a boost, which I was a bit surprised about.
Well, it just had in the last expansion pack, it got all the upgrades and the fixes and everything. So so I think it's reflective of those changes.
Its dial's gotten a bit better. It can now do a 2 bank, which is green, and a 2 hard, which it couldn't do before. So it actually really messed with it.
I think it didn't have the 1 banks before either.
No, and and it's also got a barrel roll, a native barrel roll.
Barrel roll. And also the Talon rolls, which is the banana moves, and I love them because no one expects a banana. He's still really...
Oh, sorry, no, I'm wrong. It did have 1 banks before.
Well, what did it not have? It did not have...
It didn't have Talon rolls before.
Yeah. And it's still... But he no longer has the 5k turn, which was awesome back then, but whatever. That's fine. He's still quite a good ship. While you defend at range 3 or perform an attack at range 1, roll 1 additional die. So he's still good. I think the problem he had was he was a little bit too expensive. But even with the upgrade, with the new, he's gotten better.
They still have multiple modification slots.
Sick.
Yeah, look, I think in Next Wing 2.0 it'll be interesting to see how they go, because I think part of the reason why you didn't see them is, again, Owen, you're right, expensive, but also because as a Scum player, we just spoil for choice.
Yeah, especially when you had the...
Fen Rao.
Yeah, Fen
When
Rao.
you had Fen Rao, which was a superior ship in every respect.
Yeah. Let's actually talk about, not Fen Rao, but we'll talk about the other one that isn't Fen Rao. Come on, where are you? There you go. Let's talk about the Fang Fighter. It's now the Fang Fighter.
Yeah.
Joy Rekov. Firstly, it has 4 hull, it has 3 attack value and 3 defense, which is what it was.
Yep.
While you perform an attack, you may spend 1 charge from an equipped missile slot upgrade. Torpedo, sorry. If you do, the defender rolls 1 fewer defense die. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's fantastic.
And also you've got the Concordia face-off, which is baked, is the sort of the upgrade baked into each of the Fang fighters. So that's the old title. While you defend, if the attack range is 1 and you are in the attacker's firing arc, change 1 result to a evaded result.
That's
which is
good.
The old fearlessness, I think.
So there's no just adding anymore, but that means that if you get Joy Rekov at range 1 into the opponent's firing arc, you can spend a torpedo shot to roll roll your extra dice being at range 1. They roll 1 less dice, and when they shoot you back, you've got an evade.
That's going to be really good. A lot of these torpedo slots, I think, are going to have 2 charges. Due to the fact that they don't want them to be 1-hit wonders. So it says you basically have to spend your second one, so you now become a 1-hit wonder.
Does it say anything about? No. So if you're attacking with a torpedo that has multiple charges left, you can spend more than 1 in the attack and really guarantee that really help your torpedo to hit.
Yeah, it could be a thing. Advanced proton torpedoes. I think it was advanced proton torpedoes? Yeah. The one that was like range 1, 5 attack dice.
Oh yeah.
Which that's what Joy Rekov's going to do. He's going to be like, surprise.
So Joy is a human missile.
Yeah. She fires once and then annoys you for the rest of the game because she's less useful. Moving on to the YV666 light freighter.
I love this ship so much.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons I actually moved to Scum. I just love this model. I don't know what it is. It reminds me of the Sandcrawler.
Yeah.
And it's just such it looks Star Warsy.
Yeah, it does.
It's kind of, in a sense, it's kind of like the Borg cube in Star Trek, which like in space aerodynamics doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's like it's unimaginative. It's utilitarian. Sorry, in that sense. Whoever designed the YV imagine if it was real. Whoever designed it would have been like, well, we need a box to put things in.
Yeah.
So this spaceship is a box.
So it's basically a cargo container with engines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's huge. Apparently, it's huge.
Yeah.
According to lore, it's like I think even the Millennium Falcon docks in it.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's like 4 stories tall. It's massive. It's
Bloody
it's literally a slave container. So it's like Bosk. While you perform primary attack after the neutralize step, you may spend 1 crit to add 2 hit results, which is awesome.
Yeah, which is pretty much
Slight nerf.
Slight nerf because
It's now primary weapon only. But
yeah.
I have the feeling that's probably what they intended.
Yeah. There wasn't really a whole lot of force, but because it had the missile slot when it came out.
You could use the Mangler cannon.
Yeah, to force that.
And look, the other thing which is worth noting about the YV chassis is now has the reinforce action.
Yes.
Which makes it a little bit more... Oh, look, the thing was always durable anyway.
And we did have this discussion about how it's got so much hull now, but not shields. It takes 3
it used to be
shields.
5.5.
6.6.
6.6, actually, you're right.
Yeah, so it's actually moved over to mostly hull, which I guess is more thematic.
Yeah.
Because it's such a big ship.
Yeah. There's lots to shoot at.
But that's right, there's lots to shoot at. And I get one of the things I loved about the YV and how it flew, was actually letting it die.
Yeah.
Because my God, did it when it got crit, it got proper crit.
Yeah.
And this game is just like, hey, remember how your ship just continuously exploded? Well, let's watch it continuously explode more.
Yeah. And the worst crit was that, turning the hard 2 into a red, because that's its signature move. Okay, so basically all I can do is fly off the board.
my favorite thing, I think it was like I flew it like 4 or 5 times before I realized just how bad it was. It reminds me of a pirate ship, which is what it is.
Yeah.
You just go up beside someone and just broadside it.
Yeah.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing was like from now on, all your damage cards are face up, and you're like, yep. That sounds about right. I'll use my 1 defense and just watch it slowly burn.
Right. Well, before we stop talking about the YV, what about we discuss Moralo Evolve?
Oh, yes.
Okay, firstly, same pilot skill / initiative as Bosk. Secondly, let the trolling begin.
The criminal mastermind that is Morello. This is so good.
I love this so much. If you would flee, spend 1 charge, and you have 2 charges of this. Place yourself in reserves, and in the start of the next planning phase, put yourself anywhere along that board edge. You can eye on someone and make them move forward, and then disappear off the side of the board, and then come back on behind them and eye on them again.
So it's good because I think Moralo Eval, it can either be a deliberate tactic, something you do on purpose, fly off the board edge and redeploy yourself somewhere else, or it's insurance. If you screw up and fly off the board edge, look, that's not ideal, but also Moralo Eval's the only ship in the game where that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you've got a charge left, just come back on. You're a bit embarrassed, but your ship is still alive.
I'm so keen to fly this.
Yeah.
I love the YV. It's been a while since I've flown it, but I used to love flying it.
Weirdest K-turn ever.
Yeah.
What? Or too hard.
Yeah.
Stop.
No, I mean,
this is the
Moralo
weird.
Eval is the weirdest K-turn ever. Like, I'm just going to fly off the board edge and back on.
I actually really, really dig this, because one of the biggest problems with the YV is that it couldn't turn around, so therefore you're always flying. And I've never flown off the board as many times as I have with the YV666. And they're like, listen, we get it. It's hard to fly.
Yeah, if something's behind you in the YV, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So just fly towards the board edge. They're not going to follow you.
Because you'll just be coming back.
Yeah, or even if they do, you pop back on and all of a sudden you're in front of them.
Yeah.
Or behind them.
Sorry, they're in front of you.
Yeah, so this is the kind of ship, I mean, if you were hugging the edge of the board, all you need to do is hug the edge of the board, and when you're ready, just do it too hard. So here, I think we need to talk about the butterfly.
Sugar, baby.
Come my lady,
Yeah,
Guri.
yeah. All right.
So let's talk about it. So the Guri is Initiative 5, which is great.
Yes. Yeah.
Makes her one of the higher non-force pilots.
Yeah.
Which is great because I think that's where she needs to sit. Because one of the old problem with the old Guri was she just sat too far down on the pilot skill order to be really make use of.
See, that was something I wondered about before. Was that Guri's pilot skill was low.
Yeah.
But her ability is so good.
That's right,
that
exactly.
I used to think, have they given her a pilot skill that made you wish for more, like, on purpose as a way of balancing it? But now they've just given her the pilot skill you always wanted her to have.
Yeah. But anyway, let's talk about it. So look, about the chassis itself, micro thrusters are being burnt into it. So while you perform barrel roll, you must use the one bank or use the bank template instead of the thirst, which is great.
The Star Viper Mark II
title.
Is in
there, which is great. It's one of those ships which is a joy to fly, like the Interceptor and the A-Wing.
Yeah.
Now Guri's ability, which is pretty good, at the start of the engagement phase, if there is at least one enemy ship at range 0 to 1, you gain a focus token, which is great.
Not firing arc dependent.
No.
Which is awesome. And the fact that she has the calculate action
Correct.
as her standard action, she can get calculate and focus, which is going to be a useful combination.
Yes.
Because if she is attacking first and only needs to change one eye during her attack, we'll use the calculate token for that instead of burning an entire focus token for one result.
Yeah.
Then someone shoots her and she rolls 3 eyes.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm fine, guys.
Yeah. No, I think we can expect to see quite a bit of Guri, which is exciting. And if we talk about the Black Sun Enforcer, which is at Initiative 2, look, again, I think it's going to come down to pricing on these things, because part of the challenge in fielding the generics was that the ship was so expensive to make it competitive, or to at least get it to the point where it was flyable.
I think I mostly just wanted to have another quick look at the dial here, which has been upgraded in the sense that the 2 banks are now green.
Yeah.
I always thought the frustrating thing about the Star Viper was it felt like it should have been a light and fast kind of ship, like an Interceptor. It should have been able to move around, but it couldn't get rid of stress very well.
Yeah.
But now it's got two more chances.
I think when it came out, it flew like more of an X-wing than it did an Interceptor. But I think the way it's come out with these, like the way it banks to do barrel rolls and stuff, it's really made the ship its own. It's a really unique. It's now a really unique ship.
Yeah, it's going to be even better. It's going to be even better flying it now.
Did we talk about Prince Shizel?
We have not talked about Prince Shizel, and I don't really think we should, because he sucked before and he sucks now.
And he's now at PS4, so...
and now Guri's better.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as Binder Chafe.
So can we please talk about the IGs, because I love their
and the aggressors.
Their little flavor text things are the best that I've seen so far. Like IG-88A, aggressive automaton. IG-88B, brutal battle droid. IG-88C, conniving contraption, my favorite. IG-88D, deadly device.
Yes.
I love it.
They're just
It's
fun.
silly. Yeah, I love it. And now that they're world champions, they can be silly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I got a couple of aggressor models, so I'll be happy to...
You got more than one?
Yeah. I picked them up at a sale a while ago, and they're fun to fly. So, yeah, look, I think I'll be jumping into... Scum looks really fun to me. I'm just going to jump into it and fly it casually. But, look, the chassis, pretty much the same.
Except the IG-88, like we've always called them the brobots because they could be bros with each other.
Yeah.
But now the brobots can be even more bro.
Yeah.
So I don't like this. I'm gonna redo this ridiculous sentence. They can now be allies to any droid.
Yeah.
Because advanced droid brain, after you perform calculate action, gain 1 calculate token. At the start of the engagement phase, IG-88A, IG-88A, at the start of the engagement phase, you may choose one friendly ship with the calculate action in its action bar at range 1 to 3.
Guri.
If you do, transfer one of your calculate tokens to it. Guri, Forlom.
Yeah.
So it's not just
This IG-88A has had its ability changed for the better.
Yes.
It never got used before.
No, never.
Yeah.
The only time it was ever used was if you were ever fighting, if the TIE swarm was ever a thing, but it was never a thing.
So the IGs, they get 2 calculate tokens for 1 use of the calculate action, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
So they can modify more than 1 result in the same roll or 1 of each, which is
I like
useful.
how it's different, but not necessarily better or worse than the focus.
Yeah.
It reminds me. What was Dengar girlfriend's? What's her name in the
Manaru.
Manaru.
Yeah.
It's almost a Manaru for droids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and it's like it's a good.
It's a very basic one, and it's not as powerful because Manaru is silly.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Manaru was like, oh, here's all the tokens.
Yeah.
Also, I'm invincible.
Yeah, exactly.
IGA-88B is basically the same. IGA-88C is the same.
The same.
And IGA-D is not.
No.
Yeah, D got fixed up as well. I always thought IG-88D's ability before was pretty good, but I can understand why it didn't get used as much because the other abilities were better.
Yeah, it was subpar in comparison. Yeah, I agreed. Yep.
So yeah, when you execute a sloop, you may use another template of the same speed instead, either a hard turn of the same direction or a straight. So if all you have to do is reveal an S loop, and you can turn it into a K turn or turn at the end of a hard, which
It's not a Talon roll,
no, not a talent,
but it's still very good.
Yeah.
because it's like a sideways turnaround.
Are these going to be medium base?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, these with 3 agility and medium, these things are going to be brutal.
I think these are almost top tier because they're medium base. They fight like X-Wing 1.0 with a large base due to them having to take 2 ion tokens to be ioned and 2 anything tokens to be anything.
Yeah. I think these things are. Yeah, I'm looking forward to flying these.
They'll definitely be right up there. And now they're world champions, so you can definitely prove they're meta competitive.
Yep.
Shall we talk about Dengar?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the cockroach, the toilet seat, whatever you call it. Just don't play me while you have it.
Oh, look at that red barrel roll. I am not at all sad.
Red. Yeah, and the only way to rotate the firing arc is to do it as a red action.
Mm-hmm.
After you defend, if the attacker is in your forward arc, you may spend 1 charge to perform a bonus attack against the attacker. So
It's basically Dengar's old ability.
Yeah.
it seems to be different though. Like if it's in,
He was always in the forward-facing firing arc.
Yeah.
all right. So if they attack, and they're hang on. Let me get my brain around this. If you've moved your firing arc to the left or to the right, and you successfully attack an enemy, but when they attack you, if they're not in that front arc, it doesn't work.
Yeah. I think you may perform a bonus attack against the attacker. Do you need to check to see if you can? I think you need to have it. We had this discussion and we said that basically this ship has turned into a front-facing firing arc ship.
Yeah.
With the ability to return a turret if you really need to.
If you really need to, yeah.
Look, do you know what? 2 red on a turreted ship was actually still pretty good. On the old toilet seat, 2 red, if you got into range 1, it was still pretty good. Yeah. So,
The other thing is it says perform a bonus attack. It doesn't say perform a bonus primary attack. So you can fire a missile.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, and it's 1 charge to do that, and it's a recharge. So,
See, I think this was a conversation, Owen, that you and I had a little while ago. I reckon the fact that you spend the charge to make the attack is a very slight buff in the sense that before, if you shot a ship with Dengar, because you would probably shoot first because your PS was high. If you shot 1, say the enemy had 2 ships left, you shot 1 and damaged it, and then another ship shot you, then you would have to fire the one that fired against you, not because it was the first ship that attacked you, wasn't it?
No, it was never the first ship that attacked you. It was in fact the game that you used to play when I had to fight Dangaroos. I used to fly 4 X-Wings for some reason because I thought it was cool.
It was.
But you'd always fire the last ship, the one that had shot at firstly last, because then you would skip it so it wouldn't get a bonus attack. But I'm pretty sure you can come check it up. But I'm
just making sure I'm not completely off.
Oh, what you're
Oh
saying
no,
is-
you did get to choose. No, I'm wrong.
That was
I
part of
always
the head
thought-
games. It was
I
part of the
always
head
thought-
games.
Okay.
Yeah, and
See,
that was the thing.
I had in my head that you didn't get to choose which ship you did his bonus attack on, but you always did, so never mind. This makes no difference.
The Punishing One title, while you perform a primary attack if the defender is in your front-facing firing arc, roll 1 additional attack die, remove a crew slot, and add a droid slot.
So it's a slight nerf.
Slight nerf, yeah.
So because it reduces the primary attack value, because that was the thing, and it makes it dependent upon being in the firing
Yes.
arc. Which is good. Which is good. Which is
there's-
again changes the flavour of the ship to a
Somewhere in here,
I think they do want to. They want to make it people think of it as an arc locked ship. I think they're trying to change the structure of it.
Yeah.
Contracted Scout is the Contracted Scout. He's now Initiative 2, so it's kind of on the same par as the Initiative 3 PS3 from the old game.
Yeah.
Let's talk about its dial quickly. It can do a 3S loop to the left, but not to the right, and it is no longer white.
It's red.
It's now red. So they've really taken on board the criticism, and it's always been, it's supposed to be a left-hand turning ship. That's what it's always been, and they wanted to make it a bit fancy.
Yeah.
But now they've just made it worse.
Yeah.
But it still can turn left.
I mean, look, when that thing first came out, it was basically God mode for X-Wing.
Yeah.
You know, the dial, the upgrades.
Even aside from that, I was always annoyed that it had a white 180 move.
Yeah.
Because it made it took the defender's special thing. If we poach concepts from all the ships, then
So we'll talk about the fighting koala or the Kimagila.
Kimagila. I think it's exactly the same. Now, every ship now has a bullseye firing arc. Sorry, we moved on to the Kimagila.
Yeah, it's got a reload function.
It's got a reload function, which did the old one do? Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So it's basically the same.
Yep.
It's a medium ship now.
Is it?
I think they made the 2 turn white instead of red because I think they realized that it wasn't terribly popular, so they made it less difficult to fly. It has dead to rights. When you perform an attack, if the defender is in your bullseye arc, the defense dice cannot be modified using green tokens. So that's sort of what it always was. It makes the bullseye firing arc more special on the ship that introduced it.
Let's move on to the Skurg, the Lock Revenant. It's the same.
Yep.
Yeah. The barrel roll's red.
Yeah, which is probably good.
Yeah.
Did that move up to a medium base?
Yes, I do believe so. It's too large for a small base.
I can't confirm.
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
It would have to be medium base. But other than that, it's practically the same.
No, correct us if we're wrong, listeners.
Well, there might be slight differences, but nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
Last thing we want to talk about is Falcon. Have we talked about him? No, of course not.
Not yet.
And Zuckuss.
And Zuckuss, yeah, Zuckuss.
In the Starfighter, the G1A, or as I like to call it, the family van of the Star Wars universe. Because it's got those family stickers on the side.
Yeah.
It's like a big fall-on, a little fall-on.
I did like the model as well. It was a very scummy kind of... Yeah, right. It just looks like...
Looks like a minivan.
It looked like a minivan. Let's put some weapons on it.
Yeah.
It was like Twisted Metal. That was like the game where there was literally like an ice cream truck that had like Gatling guns on it.
Oh,
It was
I like
great.
the sound of that.
Falcon.
Yep.
You go.
Okay, so after you fully execute a red maneuver, gain 1 calculate token. That's good.
That's fine.
That's good.
It'll probably have a full stop.
Yep.
So
And then at the start of the end phase, you may choose 1 ship at range 0 to 1. If you do, transfer 1 of your stress tokens to that ship. That's good.
So that's the same.
Yeah.
As before, the first part about the calculate token, that's new.
That is new,
I
correct.
think that's really good because it makes the dial a little bit easier to live with. It's kind of like I always used to fly the G1A with the Outlaw Tech crew on it. So if you do a red move, you got to focus. So this is a little bit like that.
Yeah,
do a red move, get a calculate.
It's got a jam function. Will this get the love? Because it never really got much play, to be perfectly honest.
I
People bought
agree.
it for the Zuckuss card. It was the Zuckuss upgrade.
I think that even if there are ships in second edition that they themselves aren't made heaps better going forward, what might happen is that the ships that were oppressing them will be less oppressive. So it's like they can actually kind of stick their heads up and breathe.
Yeah, and I think that's right. I think a lot of this is about flattening that power, or sort of reducing that power curve between tier 1, tier 2 ships. I agree.
yeah. And we'll just briefly talk about the Zuckuss. While you perform an attack, if you are not stressed, you may choose 1 defense die and gain 1 stress token. If you do, the defender must roll that dice. That's Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, that's the post. That's the same as the post nerf version from
Basically.
before. I think.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, again, that makes him useful. When it first came out, it was broken as
Well, I'm looking forward to flying all these ships that were,
Yeah.
that were like came into the game and no one played and I didn't play, and I'm looking forward to playing them.
Well, especially since the G1, if we're talking about the G1A specifically still, the Mist Hunter title still grants barrel roll, but now lets you take a cannon of your choice.
Rather than
before
the
it had to be
tractor
tracked
beam.
in.
Yeah.
So you can put, I'm not sure if you would want to, but you could put HLC on this thing.
Yeah.
You could put ion cannon on it.
Yeah.
Just to give you options, like.
And it's quite tanky. It's got combined 10 health, 4 health, 4 shield, 9. Sorry, 9 maths.
That's
difficult.
it. You're right. It is quite a tanky ship now, isn't it? Well,
Yeah.
it always was,
Yeah.
but it wasn't good.
But it was just so many better options.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Okay, let's wrap this one up before it goes on for too long, because
Sure.
I don't know how long we've been going for. We've been going for almost now. Let's do a quick chat about lore and round out the show.
To defeat an enemy, you must know them. Not simply their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art.
All right, it's my turn for lore, and I thought we'd have a lovely discussion, a bit of a toss-up what we normally do. I want to have a discussion about droids in the Star Wars universe, what they are, how they were made. This is all to do with the Solo movie, and L337 asks a couple of questions about, like, do droids, deserve rights, and I don't think we'll get too deep into that, but we wanted to actually have a chat about what droids are in the Star Wars universe. And Mike, would you like to kick us off with what they originally were supposed to be due to Lucas, from Lucas?
From Lucas, so I think there's a couple things. So from a lore perspective, droids have been in the Star Wars universe for thousands of years, at least 4,000 or 5,000 years. And they were what you thought they were. They were tools, they were utilities. They were there to sort of perform menial labour or to be battle droids and all the rest of it. And throughout the thousands of years of histories of Star Wars lore, there have actually been numerous droid uprisings.
Has it?
Yes. So all the rest of it. Now, so you think about it, and which brings us up to...
That's right, L337. Yeah. You're not special.
You're not special, that's right. Which also brings us up to the droids. So the droids in the Star Wars universe, so they're meant to be tools, utilities, which brings us up to what was the Clone Wars era, which droids were seen as an existential threat to life because they basically, the vast majority of the Confederacy's armies were droids. And that's where we get to the point where people are really antagonistic and really feel quite threatened by the mere existence of droids themselves, which is that famous scene in Episode 4 when they enter the Mos Eisley Cantina. We don't serve your kind here.
Is that actually due to the Clone Wars?
Yes, so it's that lingering fear and hatred of droids because they would have been responsible for killing billions of sentient life forms.
I really like the moral dilemma. I don't like droids. Yeah. I like the moral dilemma of the idea of droids that are soldiers because the alternative is, sentient life forms that are soldiers. Yeah. Is that better or worse?
Yeah. Well, that sort of brings us up into sort of what... Yeah. Well, I mean, that's actually a real-world ethical dilemma now because we now have machines of war. That's the thing that's happening. So you have drones.
Yeah,
drone strikes.
Drones are controlled by people, but there was on the border of North Korea and South Korea, there's like sniper emplacements of like droids, basically droids, that could kill someone that crossed the border from 3 kilometers away.
Yeah, and the next thing is programmed battle robots, which are now sort of under development or are potential there. But anyway,
Boston Robotics. Oh yeah, we see you.
We know what you're doing. And look, so if we talk about what droids are, what do they represent? So droid is a shortening of the word android. Now, if I know correctly, I think Lucasfilm have actually trademarked the term droid.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think wasn't there going to be an Android phone? They wanted to just call it Droid or something, and LucasArts went, sorry to be that guy, but
no, we own this.
Well, I mean, like the Android logo is just suspiciously like R2D2.
Yeah.
Suspiciously.
Yeah. So what were droids? So if we think about what droids were, and Lockie, you mentioned this earlier before, but droids, initially, the way Lucas used them is almost kind of comic relief. So R2 and C-3PO were kind of this bumbling duo, so who would sort of wander in and out of the Star Wars epic and sort of, make pointed jokes, or I don't know, R2 would sort of burn people with his
I think it's
jets.
funny how throughout the show R2 became more competent and C-3PO became less competent.
Yes.
What?
Like C-3PO shows up in the new not Last Jedi, the one before it, and he's like, oh hey, Force Awakens, oh
Yeah.
hey, I want and just interrupts the conversation between Han and Leia, and is just completely oblivious to how rude he's being.
Yeah.
Whereas R2D2 has slowly moved from the droid who just was basically a delivery droid to super cool with his flamethrower and his lighting stuff on fire and flying away. And it's like I just think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you reckon C-3PO is getting senile?
Yeah. Also, just the character who plays C-3PO, what's his name?
Anthony Daniels.
Yeah, he's in Solo.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's in Solo.
As a cameo?
But he's not C-3PO.
Oh, okay.
Right, I'll ask you about that in a minute.
Yeah. Look, but anyway, what are droids? So they sort of, I think they fulfill an interesting trope within science fiction and speculative fiction, in that we're often dealing with interesting questions. There's several of which. One of which is, what does it mean to be sentient? What is life?
Baby, don't hurt me.
Yes, thank you. Yes, there's that. So you see that in numerous science fiction films, all the way back to probably what is the first and most famous science fiction film called Metropolis, filmed in the 1920s, to which... No, so Google that if you want. So C-3PO was actually modelled on the droid that was actually featured in that. So that kind of...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if you go all the way back...
Oh, yeah, that's right. She does look, she looks just like him.
Yeah, so C-3PO, so there's a lot of calling back there.
Boys are so much more cultured than I am.
I've just been alive longer. Like literally 30 years probably. But also, so what is sentience? What is life? But also there's the existential threat of, like, you see in films like The Terminator. What happens when our machines start turning on us? And that's what you see in the Clone Wars. And I think...
And it's also with IG-88s.
And the IG-88s.
Yeah.
So they become sentient. And this is what I think we've always maintained. Within the wreckage of the Clone War prequels, those first three films is actually the germs of many good ideas.
Oh, I love the prequels. I know, I'll unashamedly say it, because some of the ideas in there...
Yeah.
And some of the politics, you watch it a couple times, you're like, oh wow,
yeah,
they are doing some real serious issues.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the prequels were really just failed in execution.
Yeah.
Correct was the problem.
They weren't entertaining, but my god, they were clever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but also you can see, I think, all the way up into the modern films. I mean, who are the droids that we love? R2 is a favourite. K2 from Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is fantastic. And there is an example of a droid who gains sentience, but also sacrifices.
Sacrifices itself. Like, has the idea that it is in fact what it is, and knows that when it shuts down this next time, it's shutting down.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
See, that's part of the problem when you talk about, do droids have rights, and are they alive, and are they sentient? Like, K2SO would have had programming to be Imperial. And if you had asked him, are you choosing to serve the Empire, he would have said yes, because his programming was such. When he became Rebel, he knew that he was stolen. He was aware of that.
Yes.
But if you said, are you choosing to serve the rebellion, he would say yes. Or he might have said something witty like, oh, begrudgingly, but still he was programmed to. Now, he did sacrifice himself. Nobody told him to do that. But if he thought, okay, if droids think in this way, he would have said, okay, my job is to ensure the mission succeeds. And he would have calculated and thought, okay, if I allow myself to be destroyed, the job will be done, therefore that is what I must do.
Therefore
so
my mission is complete in life.
Yeah, so was it a decision or was it not? And like in A New Hope, the stormtroopers, they find R2 and 3PO in that control room thing, and C-3PO is like, oh, they went that way, if you hurry you can catch them. Like, that was a lie.
That was not true. He was protecting his master.
Exactly, but he improvised that. Yeah. So, as you say, like he how creative are they allowed to be?
And how far is their programming forcing that? Yeah. Like if C-3PO is forced to serve his master, then he had no choice but to lie. He didn't have the choice to say, oh yeah, they're up there.
But I'm also thinking of there's that in Rebels. There's this. I think it was Rebels. Yeah. There's this wonderful episode which centers on these old Confederacy droids. I don't know if you remember it.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah,
I think that's
and
where
so
they get the sheathipede from.
yeah, they get the sheathipede from there, and so that's when the guys with Rex turn up to this old planet. They're looking for supplies, and they found that they're like these droids are holdouts from the Clone Wars, and in some way it mimics. Yeah, that's where Tex came from. That's for
it's not text, but it's the same thing.
Yeah. But in many ways, that sort of mimics the old trope of Japanese soldiers who would be on these old Pacific islands for decades and holding out because they never wanted to surrender type thing.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
You heard about that?
Yeah.
That guy who was only found like the 70s.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was holding out, but when they go, this episode centers around the fact that the robots know the war is over, but they feel that they need to.
Well, they can't do anything else because they're not programmed to.
Yeah, well,
they're war robots.
Yeah, but they need to actually go through this exercise of finalizing the Clone Wars for closure.
But here's the thing, right? We're talking about these people who are, well, not people, sorry. We're talking about these things that are literally machines and have literally been programmed in like the computer typing sense of programming.
Yeah.
And they only have one purpose and they know to do it. Think about Zod in Man of Steel, the Superman movie from, what was it, 2010 or something? Anyway, at the end, he's like, everything I've ever done has been to serve my people, and now I have no people, and now I have no purpose. He was programmed in sense of like a conditioning sense. That nobody gave him a microchip. They just spent his entire life drilling him and brainwashing him. And he was alive. He wasn't a droid, but he was like, all right, I'm just going to kill Superman because I don't have a job anymore.
Which makes you think, what were the clones?
Child soldiers.
No,
which is pretty
they
disturbing.
were biological machines.
But
they were
machine programmed to die.
They had a short lifespan. They were accelerated growth. They were also conditioned through birth to be unquestioning in their orders. But if you say Commander Rex, they, like the droids, were able to transcend their programming. Now, would you say, is Rex any less a sentient individual? Because despite his origins, so the questions about, so there's the origins, the clone troopers died by the billions. They were literally bred to kill or be killed.
Individuals.
But they were programmed.
So how much individuality do they have? They don't even have names. They have numbers.
They were given numbers,
self names.
Yeah, but they ended up displaying all these individual characteristics. So I think that's the interesting thing between. So in the Star Wars universe, you have all these products of an advanced civilization, and in the end, the clones turned on the Jedi. Under Order 66, they had that.
But that was programming. I can't imagine Cody. I think it was Cody who did it.
Yeah, Cody, there was a couple who rebelled against their programming.
No. I'm talking about Cody is the one in the movie who like directly fires at Obi-Wan, and he had nothing but love for Obi-Wan.
Yeah, they were best mates.
Yeah. Was it in the movie or some other media where he goes, couldn't they have triggered Order 66 before I gave him the bloody lightsaber?
Yeah, exactly. But again, I think it's a classic trope of speculative science fiction, which is, what happens if our machines turn on us? And I think that is a great existential fear. And we were talking about, this goes all the way back, I think the genesis is the myth within Frankenstein, which is ultimately about creating life. Does it have its own agency? And what happens if that life turns on its creator?
And what happens if that life eventually becomes a liquid metal Terminator?
Well, is that Guri-like?
Yeah.
Did Guri ever... What was Guri's power? She was just human.
Guri was an android with like a flesh outer coating. She was interesting because after Shizor was killed, and there's a whole comic series about this. She goes, okay, I don't want to be an assassin droid anymore, and she seeks out the only person in the galaxy competent enough to remove that programming from her without killing her, because she doesn't want to be an assassin anymore. So she finds this guy to make her less assassin-y.
Well, that's certainly interesting. I mean, so her programming is fulfilled, and she's like, I really didn't actually enjoy killing. So she do none of that, thanks.
So really what I think it is I don't think there are any easy answers to the questions.
Of what is sentience? I mean,
God,
if we knew that, we'd be on the cover of Time magazine.
I mean, we'd all be sharing the Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
But the thing is sort of like, if you remember, there's the old, what they call the Turing test. So for those listeners who don't know, the Turing test was it was devised by the mathematician Alan Turing, who was a genius. He helped develop the...
There's a movie on him.
Yeah, it's great.
Broke the Enigma code.
That kind of thing. But anyway, the Turing test essentially is that if you are engaged with a entity and if you cannot distinguish it from, say, a person from a thing, then it can be said to have intelligence.
But that Turing test has been broken like years ago.
Yeah.
And it continuously gets broken.
Yeah, well, that's the sort. But
Yeah,
I think,
it's like-
yeah, but I think that's the. I think what it's. I think. Look, I haven't seen the Solo film yet. I'm the outlier here. But what I take away from this is that, you know what, it's posing interesting questions, which is worthy of debate.
I think it's almost ironic how silly L337 is in that movie, because she's asking for equal droid rights in an oppressive fascist empire where no one really has rights, and then she's saying this in a scum and villainy era, in a scum and villainy place where they're literally hired to violate rights. So I don't know if it's like just comic irony or just bad writing.
She's like, I want equal rights for droids, and everybody's like, this is the Empire, nobody has any rights, get in line.
Yeah.
But yeah,
She's saying that in a scum and villainy place where like people are just shooting each other.
Yeah.
Like, well,
I think the only problem with L3 was that she was saying interesting stuff. It was just the way that she was characterized on screen was a teeny bit irritating.
Oh, she was incredibly irritating.
But
oh my God.
yeah, but the idea I think was solid. It was just like we said about the prequels, maybe just failed in execution.
Maybe we could have got a better voice actor.
Oh no,
Who was it?
It was nothing.
It sounded like Phasma.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it just sounded like her.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with the voice actor. Like, actors only say what they're told to say.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Yeah, it's good. That's a good point. All right, that should end that section. That's been fun. Let's move on to the end show.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
It's the end of the night, and by end of the night I mean 12:08 p.m., which I imagine is night for most listeners, which is fine. Hope you enjoyed this show, and as we like to do every time, we like to end the show with some shout-outs. Shall we start with you, Mike?
We shall indeed. And this one I really appreciate Michael Steffen and Trevor Betts for mentioning the glorious, much-needed TIE Hunter.
Yeah, when we said in the other episode that anyone who mentions the TIE Hunter automatically gets in,
they do.
I was expecting more people, and we only got two. Which is
maybe they didn't believe us, but this is evidence. Give me TIE Hunter references.
Shout out to Joshua Watson. Recently liked our page and our audio drama, which is good. You know, maybe we should start a page for just the audio drama, or probably not. Nah,
let's not.
Let's not, because I don't. That's more work.
Yeah, that's more work. We do.
Right.
Yeah.
But thinking of our Facebook pages, though, I'm always happy to receive pictures made by the listeners that we can share. And recently we got one from Patrick.
Yes, a name we can pronounce. Yes.
I just like the efficiency of it. Patrick.
Yes. Thank you, Lachlan. Kielt liked us on Podbean. Thank you very much.
We do need to give more love to Podbean.
We do.
Next time.
But for all of you who do listen via Podbean and who have liked us via Podbean, thank you so much.
Thomas Robertson, which is another name I can say. Yes. Questioned, why is it always the cabbage merchants that suffer? And because I thought it would be funny. On the script it just says running through scuffles and people shouting about them knocking over their stalls, and I just thought, yes, cabbage merchant. Yes. I don't know, that show, Avatar: The Last Airbender, hilarious.
So good.
It's such a great show.
Yeah.
It needed to happen.
Todd, Marcus, Stephen, Owen, Christopher, James, and Jason. Oh, yes.
Sorry.
The other Owen. I made a video. It was just a silly kind of a prank that I put up on the Facebook page a little while ago. And Todd, Marcus, Stephen, Owen, Christopher, James, and Jason all played along and kept the joke going in the comments, which I appreciated.
Matt conclaves?
Conclaves?
Apologies if I mispronounced that. I'm so sorry. But he said Australia doesn't exist, so we can't get prizes. No, you're correct. We don't exist. The world is flat. We are actually recording from a secret bunker somewhere in Siberia.
So
which does exist.
Which does exist.
I don't know how many listeners are aware, but just through a series of events we won't get into, Australian distributors won't be getting some of the prize kits for actually all the Star Wars games, not just X-Wing.
So
it's pretty. But yeah,
that's horrible.
So Mac
we don't get a system open. We don't even get damn prize kits anymore. Come on, we do exist.
All right, and wanted to shout out to Managamer, Klieg 005, and Force Majeure, who recommended us in a podcast thread on the FFG forum.
Oh, good old Force Majeure.
Yeah,
we like Force Majeure.
We do.
Yeah.
That's good. And of course, we wanted to give a big thank you to the Zach Matthews, who's joined us. Who joined us this morning. It was early for us. It was like 8 a.m. When we started recording, actually, so we've been going on for quite a while now. But the reason he's joined us is because he's going to be part of the next episode of Blitz in Space, which is awesome. He's from the Carolina Crates, as the Zach Matthews, which is the show, I guess, based in Carolina.
Oh yeah, they're one of the most popular, I think, certainly one of the most famous X-Wing podcasts that are out there. Much more serious than we are. I think more properly competitive.
But yeah, he came on the show. He played his part well, and he was just a really nice guy.
Yeah, top bloke.
Yeah, top bloke. So I guess that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you all you listeners. I guess it's been fun. We're going to enjoy the last of our Queen's birthday, which happened in April, but is now here.
Long live the God Empress.
Long live the God Empress. May she never rest. Thank you, everyone, and good night.